Let me read this from a recent Washington Post article. A conservative nationalist backed by President Donald Trump was elected to Poland's presidency over the weekend, capping a string of tightly fought contests that analysts say underscore the growing strength of far-right and populist parties in Europe, fueled in part by the influence of the MAGA movement from across the pond. They're talking about the new president of Poland, a gentleman named Karol Nawrocki, I guess is how you pronounce his name. But it seems as if these strong men are gaining power not all over the world, and we're seeing this trend toward autocracies, and yet you believe that's not what people want. Then I guess the question is, why is it happening then?
Yeah, I think if we dig a little bit deeper into this question of, we're seeing there's two things at play. There's the issues itself that people are facing, and then there's the way that politicians are then choosing to respond to that. The issues are real. I think we have deep financial insecurity. We have a sense of disruption to our lives in the aftermath of COVID. That's deeply unsettling. Everything we thought you could rely on has been completely disrupted in our worlds, and regardless of where you're from. But also that old notion in politics of every generation perhaps being better off than the last. I don't think people believe that to be true anymore. And that is disruptive. Nor, in this rapid technological disruption, do I think people think that their livelihoods are secure. So in amongst all of that fear...
And immigration, by the way.
In amongst all of that fear and insecurity, there's a lot of power in the way politicians then articulate or try and make sense of that to a voter.
Or manipulate it?
Weaponize is what I would say. You have two choices when you're a politician, and you've got a situation where people are fearful. You can weaponize it and use blame, as we often see, and we're seeing in large parts of the world, blame of migrants, blame of others, those who are causing your financial insecurity. Or the alternative is that you actually answer the problem sitting in front of you, because there are very genuine issues that politicians should be tackling, but they won't be tackled with a soundbite. They will take work, thoughtful policy. I think collective multilateralism, there is still a place for that, because you cannot geographically isolate yourself from the impacts of disease, from climate, and nor can you only ever hurt your competitive with trade barriers. So that is the complexity of the world that we operate in, and I think what's happening.